Alrighty then, Boneyard Bob here. We're back on the little 4300 Kubota. I told you yesterday that she wasn't starting from the seat, and she wasn't charging. So Bob did determine that the wire coming down from the whole circuitry here, the wiring harnesses, this is a 98 model tractor, and it's been a little roughed up. So I ran a new harness down. We've got her starting from the seat now, new solenoid trigger, and I left me some spares in this packed cable in case we had to come up with something on his charging system. The wires that go to that actually excite the regulator and go back to the light that you have on the instrument paddle, they had been a little too close to this exhaust for a while, and this bumblebee is about on my last nervousness. They're out everywhere right now, and he's right behind me. Anyway, I did go back into this harness, back where the wire was good, put 2 new wires, checked that, still didn't work. I did rig me up a harness to come right here to check and put voltage where it needed to be. The alternator's still not jumping up and charging. So, I don't know much about this one, but we're going to find out. Bob likes to find out, and then he'll get on the World Wide Webulator and see what he's got. But if you don't have enough information of what's in here, or maybe that there's just a hidden problem, before Bob spends all that time on the World Wide Webulator, I'm going to get in here and look a little bit and see what's going on. So we're going to snatch this cover off. I do have the battery disconnected because I've been charging this battery here earlier, and I'm going to put some new battery terminals on it because they old. So we're going to snatch this off here real quick. And there's Rodney. Hope everybody's having a good Friday. Lord's blessed it with a good day. Sun's a little bright on Bob's bald head, so he's got the big tilly on here while it's coming straight down. Bob's theory is never be afraid to explore something that's already broken. Sure, I guess you might could break it worse, but not if you pay attention to what you're doing. But the only way Bob has ever learned is because the Lord gave me the ability and the gift to be quizzical. So I got to explore, I got to look, I got to see inside of stuff. And to me, that saves a lot of questions on a lot of these forums. If you take a little time to dig in there first yourself, then you got a little more information when you go on there and ask a question. That's just Bob's thought. Bob's sure not afraid to go ask somebody for some help. Bob wants to have enough information so that I can ask an intelligent question. Because if not, even if you go on there and the old Alpha India AI is going to start throwing out 18 different scenarios of what it could be. Well, if we hadn't looked a little bit for ourselves, well then Bob's mind just goes, that's a lot of stuff. If I've looked around a little bit, then I can go down through there and just automatically eliminate 16 of them, because I've already done that. That's just Bob's thoughts. As I said before, Bob's not a smart man, but Bob's a patient man. And that's what the Lord's blessed me with. So I'm about checking it out, figuring it out, asking the Lord, help me. Okay, we got all that. So now, I think, let's see if this backer nut doesn't have to come off. I want to get in and see. This alternator was just like totally caked up inside with dirt when I steam cleaned this thing. So it's a good possibility. Maybe there's just something all nasty up in there. If not, I can determine if we can just replace the regulator. We don't have to put a whole alternator on. And the only way to know that is to look. Lord mercy, look at all that stuff that's in there. Yeah. So, now I can see there's some more screws. And I think this little regulator comes slam off. So Bob's going to dig into that a little deeper. And we'll be back. All right, so all of that, now Bob has determined, number one, this voltage regulator has been replaced before because one of those screws, someone stripped the head out of it, putting it back in there. Too tight. It ain't got to be that tight. We're not holding the final drive on a D9 here. But you see all that crud, and a big wad of that crud fell out of in there after I'd shot all that crowel oil to get that screw to help break loose. What Bob's going to do is clean all that out, and then I'm going to take my emery cloth, because where those brushes ride, right there, you can see those grooves. That had crud all in it. Them little nuggets right there sit right there. And they don't look that bad. But now that I've got a part number just for the regulator, not the whole alternator, I'm going to clean all that out. I'm going to sand them off. I'm going to put it back together and see if she works. And you say, Bob, why didn't you just pull the alternator off of there? Get it up somewhere else to work on. Bob thought about that, but Bob also thought about being able to clean that little shaft off if I could get down there to it. And this way, I don't have to hold it, and I can use the field expedient lathe. Now I got the little grease rubbed off of it. There's one. And there we go, field expedient lathe. Alrighty then, Bob wants to show you this right here. I've never pulled one of these apart, but I have pulled a bunch of a similar type of design that is 24 volt on military generators. And the same thing, a little different design, but the same concept. These, that's the screw that was stripped, and that was really corroded and rusty. This other one is right in there. But those are the contacts for these brushes coming off of that armature, going to the regulator. And if those are all rusted up and corroded up, then the juicetricity stops moving. And so the alternator can't charge. Now, if it's been that way long enough and it is a problem, it could have taken out the regulator. But it's also a possibility that Bob gets her all cleaned up, gets her put back together, and now that everything can juicetricitize all the way around, she may work. I'm going to have faith, thank you, Lord, that she's going to work. So Bob's going to get her all cleaned back together, fixing to put something in my belly because it's getting kind of rumbly. Y'all stay tuned, catch me on the next one, and we'll go from there.